in his workshop.
In his workshop, we're learning about growing up in God's kingdom.
Last time we looked at the 3 core lessons spiritual children learn in God's kingdom. They learn their kingdom identity. They learn the truth about their loving Father. And they learn how to live in the kingdom community.
And today, we'll look at spiritual young adults in the kingdom. The Apostle John describes young adults in the kingdom. He writes, "I'm writing to you who are young in the faith because you have won your battle with the evil one. I have written to you who are young in the faith because you are strong. God's word lives in your hearts, and you have won your battle with the evil one." This shows us the lessons young adults focus on in the kingdom. They're learning to be strong in their faith, to have God's word live in their hearts, and to win their battle with the evil one.
In his book, Stages of Faith, Don Willett walks through these lessons. Let's take them one by one, shall we?
Let's do this.
The first lesson is to be strong in their faith. What does that mean? Well, it means spiritual young adults own their faith. They're not going through the motions of faithfulness. They're not relying on the faith or opinions of others. They are not seeking to please people.
They are doing the hard work of studying God's word, self-reflection, and coming before their king for clarity and direction. Don Willett writes, "Strong Christians are determined not to be ordinary believers, satisfied with merely conforming to the status quo. They are committed to doing all they do with excellence for the Lord's glory and honor. They genuinely pursued being transformed into Christ-likeness, and they won't settle for less."
The strong have learned authenticity before God and others. This leads to genuine, deep, transformative relationships with God and others. Only when we are real with ourselves, with God, and with others can real relationships happen.
And you know, part of learning authenticity and owning one's faith is recognizing when something is counterfeit. Recognizing when something or someone will slow or stop our growth in God's kingdom.
For sure, Rebecca. And this something we'll touch on even more. But first, I want to make one more point. Part of being strong is knowing your weakness. You do not try to pretend you do not have any weakness. You do not hide the ones you have. You know what they are, and you bring them to your king. This is what Paul meant when he wrote. Each time he said, "My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. So now I'm glad to boast about my weakness so that the power of Christ can work through me. For when I am weak, then I am strong."
So, being strong in the faith means orienting ourselves first and foremost toward our King. What pleases him? What does he ask of us? What is he revealing to us? The strong in the faith learn to heed their King's voice and value his opinion above all others.
Let's move to the next lesson for spiritual young adults. They are learning to have God's word live in their hearts. Another way of putting this is that they are learning to walk the talk.
Spiritual young adults are not satisfied to merely know God's word. They make the connections between knowing and doing. And God's word begins to shape them from the inside out, impacting their daily lives, worldview, values, behaviors, decisions, really everything. Now, let's turn to the final lesson for spiritual young adults. They're learning to win their battle with the evil one.
Here's where recognizing counterfeits become critical. The Bible labels them the world, the flesh, and the devil. The world is the system of existence that sets itself against God's kingdom. The flesh is the sinfulness within us that is attracted to a life of sin. And the devil, well, I do not think we need to give any introduction to him. There is no way to run from spiritual warfare. Spiritual young adults learn how to fight. And they learn that they already have the victory in Jesus. The verb overcome in John 2 denotes a reality of already having victory and gaining ongoing victory.
Believers are victorious because they have entered the kingdom. Now, they gain victories as their enemies seek to derail their growth in the kingdom. They become better at identifying and overcoming their enemies.
And you know, this battle is personal. Believers take their battle personally because the assaults are very personal. Don Willett writes, since spiritual growth is never automatic, it is essential that we identify our own particularly vulnerabilities, hurts, habits, and hungerings. Then we can more easily and more fully wield to God's presence, power, and purposes. Doing this is essential in overcoming our battles with the evil one.
So, to bring it all together, spiritual young adults are learning to be strong in the faith, to own their faith. They're learning to walk the talk, and they're learning to win their battles with the evil one.
There's still more that spiritual young adults learn as they grow up in the kingdom. We'll get into that next time. For now, let's remember our key questions. What is God doing in my life? Do I have the courage to be a part of His work? Am I truly willing to join Him in His work of redemption in my life and all around me?